You ever heard that saying where going on a group trip with your friends will show you who your real friends are, like how solid your connection really is? Yeah, well, I just had one of those experiences a couple weeks ago with these two girls that I thought were my friends. Turns out they were not. And before the comments ask, why did you get kicked off? Like, what did you do? I'm gonna tell you guys literally like from start to finish. First off, the night before leaving, I had a really, really bad panic attack. And mind you, I don't have panic attacks. Like, I'm an anxious person sometimes, but like this was like a different level. My chest was so heavy, I literally couldn't breathe. I had like a whole mental breakdown before leaving. And I was playing it off that, oh, I'm just nervous because we're gonna be driving really far away. And I was just scared. I was just nervous, whatever. No, that was my intuition telling me, Kayla, do not go on this trip. So whatever, the day that we leave, we drive at least like eight to like 10 hours or so. It took us a while to get to where we needed to be. And we ended up staying at this one house for one night, and then the next day we were gonna leave and then drive another 3 hours to this music festival. So within this period of time, like I'm noticing like weird looks from one of the girls, like I'm playing certain musics and like I would see that she would be like rolling her eyes or like getting irritated at me. And I kept having these like really negative thoughts and like this overwhelming feeling of like, I feel like I should not be here right now. So the day before we were going to leave, these girls walk into the room and they're like, hey Kayla, do you want to go for a walk? And they wanted to go to like this wooded trail or whatever. Mind you, it wasn't out of the ordinary because we had already talked about like going on a hike and like watching a sunrise and stuff like that. So that wasn't weird to me. So whatever, we get to this trail and I'm noticing like really weird vibes. Like it's like something hasn't been said and it's just like there's like a lot of tension. And then I see this flower and something told me to like start filming this flower and to not stop filming. And as soon as I start filming this flower, I overhear one of them go, she's filming, to the other one. And mind you, like they're like a little ways away, so they like weren't that close to me. And it's just I overheard it, and I feel like I overheard it for a reason. So I peeped that and like something told me to like keep filming. So I kept filming and like I get them in this video and like this one girl's like, she has this like really creepy smile on her face, and it's kind of like this underlying tone of like, oh, she doesn't even know what we're about to do to her. Like it's very fucking eerie. So we get to this like middle of this forest preserve, like walking, whatever. And then this one girl goes on with saying, well, Kayla, I kind of want to talk about something and this is mainly for you. But, and then she goes on this whole like tangent. At some point I was really confused at what she was trying to get at. And like, I had to tell her like, okay, can you just like get to the point? Cause like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then we stop and she goes, I want you to leave. I want you to get a plane ride home and I want you gone. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you want me gone? Mind you, like I've known these girls since middle school. Like this isn't like, these aren't like random people that I've only known for like so and so long. So I'm like looking around, like looking for like the cameras, like I'm getting pranked, right? Like, what do you mean you want me to leave? And mind you, there's another girl here, but she's not really talking that much. Like she's just standing there like this, like staring at me like, while the other girl's talking, and I'm looking at both of them like I'm like I'm confused. So whatever, I'm trying to like de-escalate the situation. I'm like trying to like really get down to why they want me gone so badly, because they were saying these things of like, oh, like we feel like you're gonna ruin the trip, we feel like you're gonna do this, we feel like you're gonna do that, blase blase. It's what are you talking about? Like you know who I am. Like I'm so confused right now. Like there's like a big chunk that's missing here. At some point I asked her for her keys and I'm like, hey, like can I just like go back to your car? Like I don't know what the problem is. And like the look on her face when I asked her that, it's like she got pissed off. And at that point, like I start getting like really panicky. I'm like, whoa, like what are you guys doing? Like I don't understand. And mind you, like we're in the middle of the woods and like these two girls are just ganging up on me at this point. At some point I was forced to leave their house and I had to get a plane ride home and I had to get a hotel to stay that night because I couldn't get a plane that day. So whatever, we're back at the house. I'm grabbing all of my stuff. Like they're not really talking to me. Like they're acting like, oh, it's whatever. And I'm like on the phone and then my Uber's here and I'm not talking to them either. And I just grab my stuff and then one of them goes, where are you going? And I go, my Uber's here. I'm going to my hotel. Like, where else would I be going? And then she looks at me and she goes, oh, well, I would have brought you. Like, it was just like so spiteful. So then I like leave to go to this Uber and then she tries to give me a hug. And like mind you, like it was so, like she was playing, like she was acting like this was all an act. Like she was trying to act like, oh no, like this is the best for everybody, like I promise, like guys, she's gonna ruin it. The other girl was just a fucking follower because she didn't really even say much of anything. So whatever, fast forward, I'm home at this point and they have all of my stuff. I bought food, water that they ended up taking. They took all of that. They had to take my stuff because I brought stuff for camping as well. And mind you, I also paid for this music festival. So I was out $500 something plus some however much on food and water, whatever else. So at some point, her and her little boyfriend stop by my house, drop my stuff off, and then just leave. She can't even face me. I don't even know. So I'm looking at my stuff and I realize that some of my stuff is missing. So my mom ends up calling her, asking her like, hey, like, we're missing this, we're missing that, like, where is it? And one of the things, she's like, oh, my sister has it all the way out in like South Carolina or North Carolina, whatever. Like, why does she have it? And it was something that was like mine too. So it's like, you had her using my stuff? Okay. Anyways, she starts harassing me about this necklace that her mom gave me, and I said that I didn't have the necklace. And I'm not lying, I didn't have that necklace. I had originally told her that I think I left it at her grandpa's, but oh my God. Then I remembered the day that I had to leave the hotel, I had a bag that I couldn't bring with me on the plane, and I had to leave it there, and the necklace was in that bag. So like, if you want that necklace back so bad, call Embassy Suites in Tennessee, because I don't have it. But the funny thing is, I asked her, I'm like, hey, do you have my tube top? And as soon as I asked her about this tube top, she shut up and she was like, I'll check. I'll see if I have it. Oh, okay, here. Let me jog your memory. This tube top that you wore and posted on your Instagram, not just one post, but 2 separate posts, seems very spiteful and vindictive. Not to mention that you also decided to wear the dress that I was gonna wear after you already had one picked out. So let's just say, like, if you really hated me this much, if you really thought that I was like this whatever person that you're trying to paint me as, would you be wearing my clothes, and would you be wearing the dress that I was originally going to wear? Maybe that's just me, but I just thought that was really odd, and it seems like it's some deeper rooted of some sort of jealousy or something, because why are you wearing my stuff? You posted it too. And it's probably because you knew that somehow it was gonna get back to me, and I can already see it, like, oh, this is Kayla's shirt, should I wear it, da-da-da-da-da. Just gross behavior. Thing is, I already know she's just going on a rampage, trying to talk a lot of shit about me and trying to say this, that, and third of, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. This is a projection of yourself, girl. You are a compulsive liar. You are trying to convince yourself of your own lies, and you know that you're lying. This is my story, my piece, and that's it.
Work one of the busiest nights last night with a certified moron. First time like really working with this girl, and I already knew that everyone at the restaurant hated this girl, and I couldn't fully grasp it until fucking last night. She just made it a fucking nightmare. As a hostess, I guess your bare minimum is to like stand there, look pretty, and let people in and take them to their seat, and that's where your like job ends. You want to be like good at your job, and what I try to do is like do more than that and try to help the restaurant as much as you can. This bitch doesn't have team player in her fucking vocabulary. When I work, I like to help set up. I set tables, I bus tables if we're busy, I can put in food orders, I fucking will run food, I'll do the absolute most to help the restaurant, because what the fuck am I there for if I'm just standing at the front doing nothing when somebody needs help inside? So what really pissed me off is that we were getting really busy, we were over seating sections, and we're understaffed. We're not fully staffed yet. So it's like, it's very tedious when we get busy like this. She's just sitting people willy-nilly, not looking at reservations. So when reses came in, I had to like do fucking backflips to seat them. I'm moving people to tables I don't have open. Like, I'm doing extra for walk-ins because she already told them they can come in. And what am I gonna say? No, you can't. I'm so sorry, she was wrong. Like, I can't do that. And she likes to do this thing because she's been there longer than me. She likes to tell me how to do my job, and she's like, just so you know, da-da-da-da. I'm like, bitch, you were literally doing this wrong too. Like, when I was in training, one of the first things I was told when she like first came up and I first met her was, don't listen to anything she says. I said before, and I was a single person in that restaurant lecture, so there was a point in the night where she went back into the kitchen and she was like yelling for a busser, like, somebody come bust these tables. Bitch, do it yourself. And everyone's busy as fuck. Everyone's running around because she oversat the restaurant. My favorite expo told me the story and how our chef yelled at her. He was like, get the fuck out of my kitchen. And she tries to pick a fight with him, and she's like, excuse me? That's not how you speak to somebody. Like, she acts high and mighty, like she deserves some kind of respect or something in the restaurant. And I think that's because we have another hostess and she gets a lot of respect in this restaurant, and she acts like she deserves the same treatment. But that hostess, like, does a lot for everyone and does their fucking job. Then again, chef yells, get the fuck out of my kitchen, and I guess she went. I kind of forget what else I was told. Way through the night when she was really fucking me over and I was like running around trying to fix things, I go up to Stan and I tell her, I'm like, you have to stop taking walk-ins. We are not taking walk-ins anymore. We are out of tables for our reservations coming in. People are not leaving. They're taking their sweet time. Like, you have to think about everybody else in the restaurant. And then she goes, so this is where we need communication. I'm like, no, stop seeing. And I like didn't let her talk. She's like, can you let me talk? Can you let me talk? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let you talk. Stop seeing, keep up letting in walk-ins. I have to go run this. We do like birthday cards at my restaurant. If we know like there's a celebration or something, we'll write a little personalized card. I was like, no, I have to run this because I'm like doing shit. I'm running around doing shit that like would be so much easier if she would just fucking help. But no. Even our manager in our modern day wants her to go the fuck home. I was talking to our manager. He's like, so I really want you to take your break right now so then we can send her home. And I'm like, that's great. I just don't have time to take a break. So I ended up taking my break and working through my break. I just clocked out my break so I wouldn't get like penalized. Halfway through the rush, I found our manager and our modern day and I banded them together. It's like, look, we really need to send her home. It is impossible to get shit done with her here. It's just making the server's life harder, the kitchen's life harder. She has people walking in and just standing around crowding the restaurant. She's like, yeah, there's like standing room at our bar. There isn't standing room at our bar. It's a small ass restaurant. I'm genuinely so upset that I can't even coherently like tell this story. Like, I will say she's very pretty though, but very fucking stupid. And I don't even think I mentioned this at the beginning of the shift. She was like, oh, why do you think they double scheduled us? I was like, because, bitch, you're incompetent and we need one person with full capacity up here to work. Anyways, that's the rest of my story. The night went great besides that.
Get ready with me while I tell you the story about how my dad, she was someone who was very erratic. You could never know what mood she was going to be in. You didn't know if she was going to be happy, which was rare. And even if she was happy, it wouldn't last very long. She could change her mood at the snap of fingers. Is that a phrase? It just was erratic. Like I said, it was unreliable. It was scary because you didn't want to make any wrong move to upset her. She wasn't very nice to my dad. She would talk about him behind his back to me, and I learned as I got older that is a control mechanism where she can try to keep me in her little corner instead of me getting closer to my dad and realizing how unhealthy she really was. I apologize if this is a little disjointed. This is really my first time doing an in-depth story time about what happened to my family. Apologies if it's a little hard to follow sometimes, but I promise I'm doing my best. Years leading up to this, my mom never had a job. Now, my dad didn't make tons of money, but he made enough to fund our life, buy us a house. I have 3 siblings, so he made enough to support all 4 of the siblings, including myself, my mom. So he was doing good, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom up until 2 years before this happened. My mom was very smart, so she went to online real estate school, and this was in 2003 probably, so she was ahead of the times, I feel like, in that situation. She got her real estate license extremely quickly, started being gone from the house. Slowly but surely, she was gone longer and longer, where it got to the point within 2 years, she would almost never be home. And sometimes she would come home and she would have very red eyes, or she would come home and smell like alcohol. This was very unusual, new, because my dad was a type of dad, and I guess my mom too, at first, was a type of parents who didn't even allow alcohol in the house. They were very careful with us. They didn't want anything that we could get into in the house. So when she started coming home smelling like alcohol and red eyes, it was very obvious. Now, by this time, when I'm 13, 14, I had begun to realize that she was telling me things about my dad to make me not like him. And I just grew up and I saw how she was acting. I saw how erratic she was. I knew how I felt around her, how I didn't feel safe. I started moving away from her and closer to my dad, thank goodness, because I was able to form a relationship with him more closely before he passed away. Also, I'm not like a makeup influencer, so go easy on me when it comes to makeup because I barely know how to do it. Anyway, so this was also around the time where I started noticing that she was on her phone all the freaking time. This was when texting first started being a thing. She was constantly texting, very, very secretive with her phone. It disgusted me because I was like, why is she being so weird with her phone? And obviously, usually that means people are doing stuff they're not supposed to do, and that was the case with her. One time I saw her phone in the laundry room just sitting there, so I decided to grab it and look at it. It was pulled up to a text. Maybe I didn't even grab it. It was just open to a text. I guess she didn't think anyone was going to be in the laundry room. And it was between her and this other man. They were talking inappropriately for someone who is married. And again, it just like traumatized me. It was disgusting. I didn't understand that. Around that time, she also started taking me to places where she shouldn't have, like meeting her boyfriends, meeting people that she was having affairs with while she was married to my dad. She was doing substances, was spending all of our money on those substances and on her affairs and buying gifts for them. It was insane, actually. I remember one time she bought a pair of new shoes for this guy and took me and my brothers with her to go drop them off to that man. Just disturbing stuff that just shouldn't have been happening. And I started to hate her for it, honestly. I'm trying to do this in part 1, but there's just no way because it's so much. So school's out. My dad's texting me. My family's in a different town 3 hours away. My dad's texting me, telling me how much he misses me, and I obviously miss him too. So I tell my mom, hey, I'm ready to come home. We were at her side of the families. And I tell her, we're ready to come home. Can you come pick us up? And to my surprise, she was sure. The reason why I said to my surprise is because she was so selfish, y'all, that she would never do anything unless she had some kind of benefit from it. She then came and picked me and my friend up. And I think at that same time, she dropped my brothers off. And I was like, okay, so she dropped my brothers off at our family. She drove me and my friend home. We dropped my friend off. And then when we get to my house, she tells me, this is at the beginning of the summer, she tells me, run inside. You made a bad grade. And if your dad sees you and comes home, he will ground you because you made a bad grade. Now, my dad was at work, so he wasn't there. And I did not make bad grades. I made very good grades in school. It came easy to me. And so I was very confused at that. But she was my mom. I was 14 and I listened to her. And that was the biggest regret I have. She had me go get my clothes. Also, I'm gonna run out of time before I get to the part where it actually happens. I'm so sorry. This is a really long story. My first time ever telling it. I'm gonna have to do a part 2. I will explain what happened after she didn't let me see my dad, and the following 3 days where she goes through with her plan. And then my life changed forever.
Story time on how this creepy guy watched me while I was at work for hours. So basically, I was like 16 or 17, and I worked at an ice cream store like I still do now. And it was just me and my coworker working, which, you know, we were like the same age. And this guy comes into the store and was like, can I use your phone? So now I would say this guy was probably like mid-30s, but you can tell he was a little less, let's just say less clean looking than the average person. So he asked to use the phone, and without like a second thought, I was like, sure. And I give him the store phone, and he sits at the front at the table and chairs, and he's like calling someone. Like, okay. And then literally like 2 minutes later, he comes back up to the counter where I'm standing, hands me the phone, and goes, they didn't answer, thanks anyway, and then leaves the store. And then 5 minutes after that, he comes back in the store and goes, I need to call this person to pick me up. Can I try calling them again? I'm like, sure. I don't care. and he's sitting back down at the table and chairs calling them, and now he's sitting there for like at least a half hour calling and calling, like just sitting there. And keep in mind, he's like he's staring at us. Like I tried to like not notice it, but he was like staring at us as he's calling this person at least like 30 times. So now this was all towards like the beginning of my shift, and then it started to get busier because it started to get later, and you know, it's an ice cream store, and I kind of like forgot about him. But as the time went on and it got less busy, he was still sitting there like the whole time. So now it had been almost 2 hours that he had been in the store calling someone and watching us. And then when it got a little less busy, I saw that he was still there and like staring at me and my coworker, and I was staring back at him because I was like, what are you looking at? So then he saw that I was looking at him, and he gets up, hands me the phone again, and was like, they're not answering, thanks. So obviously this was all like a major red flag, but nothing like this had ever happened before. So like we didn't like actually think anything bad was happening. But then this like maybe 50-year-old dad and like his daughter come in, and I guess they like notice him. Like he's just like creepy looking. He's standing there, and then he whispers to me, my coworker, he's like, is this guy creeping you guys out? Like, do you want me to tell him to leave? So then when he saw like a concern with this guy, that's when me and my coworker were like, wait, like maybe this is really weird. So now while that guy was gone, like he left the store again after being in there for probably a total of 2 hours, me and my coworker were like, let's check the phone to see like how many times this guy has called someone. So we take the phone and look at like the previous calls. When we did this, our hearts dropped. So the moment that we actually started getting scared was when we checked the recent calls on the phone, because it said that the last person to like be called on that phone was our boss. And our boss had called us through that phone like before he came in for the first time. So basically what that had meant was that while that guy was there for hours claiming to make calls for someone to pick him up, he didn't make one call. Like he didn't dial one number the entire time that he was holding that phone up and staring at us. So once we put those pieces together, we called our boss and gave her a short story of what happened, and her feedback to that story was, you can't give customers the phone to use. So now it's late in our shift, it's like pitch black outside, we're cleaning to close, and he comes back in again and asks, and we say yes because honestly we'd rather say yes than be scared to see what happens if we say no, because we know that like we were saying yes and he was just sitting there. So we were like, let's just be safe, like sure, whatever. But then we text our boss and we're like, he's back again. So then gives me back the phone, leaves, normal routine, but keep in mind this is all over now like a 4-hour span. And then my boss comes in with her husband, and we're looking at the security footage on her phone of him coming in, sitting there like for the whole shift. So while we're looking at the security footage, he opens the door, and then my boss's husband tells him, get out, you're scaring these girls, get out. So then my boss and her husband, like, basically, like, were yelling at him as they were, like, pushing him outside, like, saying, like, don't come back, like, you can't do that, you're being really creepy, like, leave these girls alone. So then he left. And that was at the very end of our shift. So if he had stayed there like he kind of planned to until we closed, like, what would have happened when we were leaving the store, considering our store closed at 10 and every other store closed before us. Me and my coworkers' cars were the only cars in the parking lot, dead parking lot, just us. Like, what would have happened if we didn't get someone to kick him out? I don't really know if anything bad would have happened at the end of that shift, but never saw him again, and I'm glad I didn't have to find out. So I guess the moral of the story is, don't let someone use your phone because they might just want to stare at you like a creep. Yeah, well, here's the outfit. Pretty casual. And thanks for watching.